Like, if I were to start, it would have to be when I was 12 years old, because that's when I became homeless. I remained homeless for 25 years. Life on the streets is brutal. It's hard, you become desperate. You're lost, you're stuck, you're nobody, you're nothing. You can't move. Service providers didn't come into my life until last year. I didn't reach out until last year, but I don't know if it was because I was unreachable or if I just choose to ignore everything that ignored me. I don't know.
I think we all have a choice, but I believe that our environment conditions us to believe certain things. When we're living in poverty, when we're living in lack, we don't see that we have a choice to be anything other than what the world sees us as. I always ask a question, and I do the same with people when I'm teaching classes at the shelter. Give me a word that you would want to be known as in the community. And those words are always around loyal, passionate, funny, smart, the kinds of words that all of us would use. But then when I ask, what are the words that people use to describe someone who's homeless, who you think they're describing you in your situation, those words aren't so nice. Those are the words like bum, drug addict, drunk, garbage. Those are the words that hurt. But the reality for that individual experiencing homelessness is that when they go out into community, they step out into community through that second filter. They don't step out into community through the filter of who they see themselves as being passionate, loyal, funny, smart. They step out carrying that label and all those words that they believe people are seeing them through.
So I get to the place, they call me a cab. Me being Native, Aboriginal, and the way I look, not a very good idea to try and wave down a cab. And I said, you here for Naomi? No, wrong name. And I was like, really? Yeah, wrong name. Why, where are you going? And I'm like, I need to get to this address. I need to go and do an interview for a documentary about, homelessness on the streets. And before I can even say anything else, they rolled up the window and drove away.
I was in the coffee shop, and a couple of our clients walked by, and they saw me and they waved. Within 2 seconds of them stepping foot in the coffee shop, the manager came out and blatantly pointed the fingers at them and said, you guys cannot be in here, this isn't a place for you, get out. And I was a little bit offended because the coffee shop was really busy, they were pointed out, and to me it doesn't matter how long you've been homeless, you still, the sense of dignity and being embarrassed in front of people, that never goes away.
I try not to look at people anymore. I've totally avoided eye contact. I don't know, I just stopped. What's the point if they're gonna discriminate and if they're gonna put you down and make you feel more like than you've ever felt?
Being a woman on the streets is, it's lonely, it's dangerous. I think maybe there's two women who I grew up with on the streets left. The rest are dead from overdose, from murder, from being ignored and never heard.
I've never been on the streets until I came here 3 years ago. And I've been living at the shelter since then. There's a lot of recyclable stuff thrown out, trust me, that would be covered in landfills if it wasn't for pickers. Is there any thanks for it? No. I'm thankful that the DI Center is there and St. Mary's Church and everything else. I'm thankful for it all, but I just want to get my own place, get a job, contribute to society if I can,
Some people's bags weigh up to 50, 60 pounds, if not more. They got all their clothes stuffed in there, they got their blankets stuffed in there, they got pretty much everything they need to survive stuffed into these things. A lot of people keep all their ID in it, little trinkets or something your child gave you or a picture of you and your family. And if that goes missing, you know, they lose pretty much everything they have.
If you're every day asked to leave where you've spent the night and you have your backpack with you, you have your layers of clothing, you have everything you own with you, you're pinpointed as being different from the fellow that just walks in with his briefcase. You know, we talk about equal access for all, universal healthcare systems, everybody's treated the same way, but that doesn't always happen that way.
We found an individual who was lying on the ground, and he had a huge laceration on his face. It's probably about 6 inches big. He definitely needed stitches. This person was a little intoxicated, but you know, in our opinion, it doesn't matter. He needs medical attention. So we brought him to a hospital, and we walked him up to the triage nurse. And the first thing that the triage nurse said to us was, "Do you guys know the difference between a hospital and a homeless shelter?" And we were both kind of taken back, and we were basically shocked that a medical professional would say something like this when the client that we had definitely needed medical attention.
I see all these people come from different places to Alberta because it's the boom, hoping to make a go, you know, and all these job opportunities, and they can't find housing. And they end up getting in that rut at the shelters and working for temp wages, which is $40 a day or whatever, and it's just a vicious circle. You can't get out of that hole. And I see a lot of people, and they get all these infractions and tickets, and because they got nowhere to go and they're loitering here and there, and the bylaw just hits on these people more than anything that I've seen. I've never seen the bylaw pull up and set it in front of the petrol can and say, okay, you're within 10 meters of that door, ma'am. I'm giving you a ticket for smoking, but they'll pull right up to a shelter, to the doors, and give all those people infractions for smoking on the step. They give tickets to people that can't pay it.
The bylaws appear to be passed to deal with the issue of homelessness from the perspective of a public nuisance. At least that's a perspective.
Working with a gal, she stayed at one of the shelters by the river at lunchtime. She was with a couple fellows. They had their backpacks with them. So along come some bylaw officers. And when they deemed that they didn't have any open alcohol and couldn't charge them for that, they charged them and wrote them a ticket. And I remember this ticket because I was flabbergasted. It was for camping. I felt if that had been me sitting by the river having my lunch, would they want to see what was in my bottle of water? And secondly, given a camping ticket?
Yeah, I know people are tons of tickets. I have a friend, he's 63 years old. He's an old guy. He just says, I got a pocket full of them. They all do. I see all those people down there. They get this ticket, they just throw it in the garbage. They'll never pay it. $600, they throw you in jail for 2 months. What's the cost of 2 months in the prison system, right?
From our homeless client's perspective, is that if they jaywalk and there's a police officer around, 100% chance they're getting a jaywalking ticket. If I jaywalk and I'm wearing my suit and a tie and I'm carrying a briefcase, very unlikely that I'm going to get a jaywalking ticket. And so that discrepancy has nothing to do with what's written in the law. That discrepancy is purely based on the police officer's discretion. In a lot of ways, discretion is a good thing because it allows people to be humans. And a lot of our clients have noted that quite a number of police officers that are very friendly and will do their best to help them out. But because of the discretion that's there, it also opens up the door for abuse or the negative effects of that.
I get tickets for absolutely nothing. And then I end up in jail. I've been in jail 3 times for bylaw. Not everybody is beyond help. We just get stuck in an abyss. And there's sometimes no way out. It takes a lot to get out, and when you've got a lot of bylaw on your for no reason, it is detrimental to what I'm trying to do with my life if you are fighting me and fighting me and fighting me.
If I get a jaywalking ticket, particularly as a lawyer, I know that I have a certain type of safety net available to me. But that one ticket for a homeless individual, or even a person who's at risk of homelessness, whose housing is somehow jeopardized, that one ticket could be that one thing that pushes them over the edge. And I think that's where the problem is.
I didn't want to live like that. I didn't. Who does? Who would? What person in their right mind would want to just destroy themselves on a daily basis? If there's one thing I could change, it would be, I wish I was more aware earlier on in my life. I wish that I had involvement with my culture. I wish that I had exposure to the ceremonies.
Our program is a lot around cultural reconnection. So I see these guys passed out, pissing in a train stop station. And then I see them on a Friday when they come out to sweat with us. And it's a different game. They come in the lodge and you can hear them sing a song and hear a prayer that they have for themselves and their family. There's another fella exactly like that, and he was at our drum group the other week, bone sober, and come and drum, bro. Come and sit down. No, I can't do that. And he's sitting there, looked defeated, deflated, head down. Now is the best time for you to come and do that. It'll help you, puff you up, and you'll see that you don't need that drink to feel that pride.
Once I connected with my culture, I could then realize there was a major difference in what I had to live for, because I did have a lot to live for. The next generation is fantastic. Nobody goes to jail in my family. Nobody has addictions.
Increasing education is one of the solutions to dealing with the problem of the justice system and homelessness. I don't think it's the only solution, but I think it's the one that's going to have the largest long-term impact. But is it the only solution? I don't think so. I think as long as there are bylaws like anti-panhandling bylaws, a lot of work has to be done sort of on a policy level, on a legal level, right? In terms of challenging these laws to make sure that, the right people are captured by the offenses we want them to be captured by, so that murderers are captured by, laws against murdering people, versus, capturing a whole group of people that are in circumstances that are beyond their control often, and criminalizing them based on a situation like not being housed.
It's not just a group of people, but it's the person themselves. That person needs to be helped. There's a lot of ways this can happen. But somebody has to get down and say, hey, look, why are you living like this? Because there's a lot of people in homelessness that are there by choice. And really, they need other choices. They need to know that there's other choices.
Well, there's this lady who worked at the drop-in center. She kept on me. She kept reinforcing what I was doing. It shouldn't be. She believed in me. She loved me. And she wanted to help me. And she did. Eventually I got into an apartment. I took care of warrants that I had. But she just never, ever gave up on me. Since then, I've gotten my diploma, maintained a scholarship, and many talks through different agencies and universities. I work full-time. I just haven't gone back. I haven't gone backwards yet.
I pounded 60 places before someone would accept me as a tenant. Homelessness, if I went back to homelessness again, I don't know, I'd probably die, I think. I'm not suicidal, but I can feel my spirit just dying.
I look back now and I ask myself, why did I have to live that life? I don't have those answers. But what I do know is, I'm never gonna live like that again.
And so this friend had written for a play that he was in a statement which I think truly, truly sums up everything about the condition of homelessness versus the human condition. And what he wrote was, I am a son, a brother, a father, an uncle, a friend. I am a carpenter, an artist, a musician, a writer. I laugh, I cry, I bleed, I feel. Which of these are diminished because I am homeless?